on the grid here at Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin for a quick 8-lap race. Flag is down, we're underway, getting a little bit of wheel spin off the line there. Not a bad launch, shifted into second gear. This GT40's pulling away, able to get back on one here. So we'll funnel down into the first corner, brake plenty early this time. Into second, field slowing up in front of me. So we'll make our way down to the next turn, down into second, into first. This, of course, is Grand Prix Legends and is the brand new version 2 extra mod for the 1967 World Sports Car Championship, released originally back in 2010. So we'll make our way to the end of the straightaway here. Down second, locking up the brakes a bit, into first. Released back in 2010, recently redone as of just, I think, a week ago. Maybe not even at the time of this recording. And it is sure great to be back with something new. It's now through hurry downs here. We'll try to maybe get this GT40. He's braking awful late there into this left-hander. Okay, we'll fly into the carousel, probably the signature turn for this circuit. So difficult to get through in any car, never mind these ancient beasts. Getting pretty good drive out there, as now we'll head towards the kink, which is no joke in these cars. Brake pretty heavily, fly completely sideways onto the runoff a bit. Whew. Almost losing it there on this opening lap. We'll take it pretty easy into Canada corner after that. Down into second, down into first. Missing the apex just a little bit. Up through Thunder Valley now. So we're getting towards the end of the lap, this awesome left-hand corner. It's now the final right-hand turn of the lap into first gear, and then we'll work our way onto the front straightaway, trying to get a good run to get around this GT40. I'm, of course, in the Ferrari 330, which would be, I believe, the championship winning manufacturer that year, Ferrari. I don't believe they counted specific makes of cars. It was Ford, although they had several different versions of the GT40. I'm sure Ferrari did as well. Had several versions of their cars. Is now down into first gear for this. What is numbered as the third turn on the circuit really feels like the second, though. And now through the moraine, sweep really fast. Straightaway, pretty much. That's really what this track is. Now, of course, World Sports Car Championship did not race at Elkhart Lake, Road America in 1967, but felt like a fun track to do a fun race on. This track, raced by Can-Am back in the day, those beasts, which we could also do at some point. And of course, IndyCar, USAC, Champ Car, all the way through today with Indy cars still racing there. Sports cars still racing here too. It's one of the gems of the U.S. And the GT40 just not giving us any space here. I'm sliding a little bit wide through this left-hander, watching my mirrors as well as I'm surrounded by GT40s. And I guess that's really what this championship was in '67. A lot of Fords, but some really other cool cars too. Here now through the kink, try to make this a little less chaotic this time around. Getting a good exit there, but nowhere to go really. And you gotta be very careful that touching the grass will just pull you in on the edges. Not a great place to make a move. This track feeling extremely narrow in these cars. I'm not sure it's any wider today. Track virtually untouched. For those of you watching that have experience with this track, this is how it was in the late 60s, early 70s, and it's essentially exactly the same today. A little less Armco in this version, though. And now we'll try to draft up, although I think the GT has a little bit of grunt on us on the straightaways here. through that second lap. Second of 8 laps. Getting a little wide there. Almost losing it through the first corner. I'm gonna let that tail ride out. To be very careful not to overheat the tires. Missing that apex again for the what I'll call the second turn. Things settling in a little bit now. Qualified pretty up near the front for this race. It was about 6th or 7th position, so not anticipating be passing a lot of cars. Trying to get into the left-hander here. I can see that GT in my mirrors. Oh, and a nice power slide on the way out. So these cars completely redone, essentially, from what I'm reading. That this mod originally came out back in 2010. The version 1 of the sports car mod really was a long time coming. People always wanted sports cars in Grand Prix Legends, and they finally got them. And they were really good as well. But over time, some of the newer mods that come out, and these being one of the first major mods that arrived that could be done better and have been really completely redone. All the car shapes, not getting that apex too well. All the car shapes, all of the texturing. The drivers finally have 3D helmets in these cars. And I think most importantly, the physics have been redone. Definitely takes some getting used to, especially if you're used to driving the F1 cars in this sim. These are much, much heavier. Tend to kind of bob around the circuit. A lot of power though, and really fun once you get a hang of it. Takes each car, I'll say, has its own individual qualities too. Oh, I'm right on the back here. But not a lot I can do down the straightaway. Coming up that hill just tends to pull away a bit. Each car has its own quality. The Ferrari here is the one I've driven the most in the old mod, the original, giving it some good laps here. The new car released with this version of the mod was the Alpha T33. Gave that a try. I was thinking of doing the video on that, but it really isn't a fair competition. That car was essentially part of a different class altogether with a 2-liter engine. I believe the cars I'm racing in, the Ferrari here and the GT40s, are all 3 liters, if not more. And so with a 2-liter engine, not really something that was going to compete. Basically ran against the Porsches for the season, but had a lot of reliability issues and so forth. Wasn't a big contender. Wasn't included either in the original mod. Nice to have it in here. It gives you some fun traffic to pass, or if you're looking to get past, something for you to race. Taking hurry downs here a little quick, but trying to close up. Gotta figure out where I could possibly make a pass here. So see, getting stacked behind a green car up there. Another interesting tidbit with this mod, might have seen him right at the very start of the race, although I believe long gone now in front of me, but is the Chaparral, one of the Chaparrals. Can't remember the exact model, but has the huge wing on the top. Oh, nice. Through the kink this time. Let's see if we can get maybe up the outside, which will be the inside. No space. Into Canada corner. Down into first gear, locking the brakes a couple of times. Really juggling the steering wheel around here to keep this thing pointed straight. Not as smooth as I'd like to be. A little out of practice. Oh, nipping the back there of the GT40. As we go into the final corner, down into first gear. Able to get him now up the straightaway though. Will I be able to stay in front? Will he just make the move back on me? See him closing in. Unable to stay in front. This time maybe not getting as good of an exit as he did prior laps. Second gear though through this first turn. I think the first corner on this track being the only one that is significantly different from today's iteration of the circuit. profiled at some point, but otherwise really very much the same. And this is a beautiful recreation of it. I think this took many years to build, and you can tell how well it's done and how well it really reflects the circuit. Having driven this track in sims like iRacing, where it is a laser scanned track, this one really does not feel off in any way. All right, got in front of one of the GT40s, got another one here in front. Now, this series had plenty of famous drivers in it, of course. In the time, all drivers kind of raced a little bit of everything. GT40s, I think, famously piloted to a victory at Le Mans by AJ Foyt and team Dan Gurney. But in the regular series too, Jackie Ickx racing. I think Graham Hill did some races, potentially. This was a stacked series, and I think at its time when it became most successful, pulling in again. See if we can try maybe up the inside. There's just really no space down here. Losing my gears. All right, getting it into second. Wow, that's very nerve-wracking when you lose what gear you're going into and from down the straightaway. Just kind of dumping the clutch in and hoping for the best. Getting a little wide coming out of Thunder Valley there. It's a really fun corner if you get it right. There we go. Coming out onto the front straightaway, up the hill again. I'm trying to take a look at my pit board, though. It's a little hard in these cars. 3 laps to go, I think. P6, which isn't the worst. Second gear again, a little late on the braking, but able to get it stopped just enough to get through. I think down the moraine sweep here I could get a pass coming into this downhill corner if I can just get a good exit, kind of like that. Out of the bridge here. In a 4th gear now. Probably don't have the car geared exactly right for this track. It is a 5-speed transmission, only really using 4 of them, and even then sometimes getting away with 3. But thought it'd be fun to do just a quick fun race here. It is just over 20 years since Grand Prix Legends was released, and more importantly about 20 years since I received it on Christmas. Sliding off the track here, getting back on. Wow. I think I have a GT40 up my inside, able to keep them behind as we go into the carousel. I'm able to get a good amount of power down there. And almost spinning, actually, coming out of the carousel. Going to the kink here. A nice lift, dab of brakes even. Into the grass a little bit on the outside, nothing too bad. Wouldn't want to do that in a long race for sure. End up with a tire puncture or worse. GT40 looking to the inside, making contact, sending me off the track into kind of a corner. A couple cars going past, see if we can get back on, and if the car still drives all right. I thought I gave him plenty of room there. And we're a little bit sideways. Have some suspension damage. Difficulty making a right-hand corner then. Still have the GT40 behind me. With only a couple laps to go, would hate to throw everything away now. So coming into the first corner, down into 2nd gear. And the car is just not performing anymore. Have to let the GT40 by here. I think we have a decent lead on some of the cars behind us. So we'll try to see if we can do what we can to finish out this race with just a few laps to go. Probably me being a little out of practice. and also brand new mod. Really does feel a lot different than the original, in a good way too. The cars don't pogo, I think, as much. Having a tough time slowing it down and losing the rear end there. Get her around and avoid our other combatants out here. Clear as a chaparral just went by. Wow, something definitely wrong in the right rear where I got pegged there into Canada corner. See if we can do our best to keep it on the track and finish it out. This is classic Grand Prix Legends. Watching a video a few days ago of Niels Huskenfeld, and I'll apologize for the last name pronunciation, but him taking a look at the sim, being, you know, a staunch physics guy, and I think actually developing and looking back at, you know, the sim that really kind of started it all. Oh, the car very, very sketchy, I'd say, down the street there into Canada corner. Of course, this corner named, I believe, because it faces the north, and if you go off, you're headed towards Canada. Up here in Wisconsin. We'll come over, and I think there'll be one more circuit. Oh, we're just skating around the outside, not able to keep it in bounds. See, I got a couple more cars. I'll pull over to the inside to let them by. One of my teammates here behind a GT40 streaking away in the Golf colors. Wasn't able to see the lap counter left on the pit board. Into the first turn. It's funny how you can kind of learn how to drive a damaged car. To get used to its characteristics. Essentially, the car just doesn't like turning to the right, which, if we're going to have a problem with one direction, that's the right one to have on this circuit. See if I can avoid spinning here at the bottom of the morning sweep. Taking it easy. The car very much just liking to turn itself there. But actually keeping up here with these two cars, not so slow compared to them. What I was saying a few laps ago before everything went crazy, about 20 years since I started playing this sim, although with a keyboard at first. It's a number of years later that I actually got a steering wheel, but it's crazy to see how you can still have a lot of fun. And that's what I got out of Neil's video, watching that. He had a great race at Monza with the AI. And even in today, where we have so many sims to choose from, this one is still special, and maybe something we'll never really see again. A few things I've been meaning to try. I know there's been a Grand Prix Legends style F1 mod created for Assetto Corsa. I'll have to give that a try. Looks like a lot of good fun. But until a sim has all of the tracks and a way to race a championship, it still won't be the same. And I don't know if any sim, even with those, would be the same. We'll come across the line, believe the checker flag, give a wave to the flag man. So, not the race I was hoping for, but hope it was entertaining nonetheless. Really, really good iteration of the mod here. Do my cool down lap. We'll go through a few things. Yeah, really awesome mod, awesome track, really good pairing. I want to try this mod around a few other of Janetto's tracks too. Understand this one was made with some help, I think, as they all are. But Genetto definitely responsible for a lot of these awesome circuits being brought into Grand Prix Legends. Give a wave to the flag man. Things like Riverside, and I know there's a good Laguna Seca out there. Those aren't tracks that were run on the World Sports Car Championship, but would be fun ones to try this out with, as of course would be the new Spa. Nürburgring, I know, just got somewhat of an update. So always new stuff coming out for Grand Prix Legends. All of the mods, all of the community lives at the Sim Racing Mirror Zone, srmz.net. And there you can find downloads to everything and a really awesome community of folks willing to help in a land or a time when there's a lot of toxicity out there. It's just a bunch of guys and potentially gals who love old racing sims and love this racing sim, specifically Grand Prix Legends. So definitely recommend checking that out. As for myself, as we come around the carousel on our cool down lap here, I know I've been putting off doing the next installment of our 55 season, which is Reims, and honestly, it's something I've tried to record a few different times, and that circuit, for some reason, is just very difficult in any car, never mind the 55s with the brake wear, and definitely not the excuse. Real life commitments, time, all of those things get in the way, but I hope everyone enjoys some of the stuff I do put out. Not able to keep up with some of the other guys doing a lot of videos these days, but still don't think there's too many people doing videos on GPL. So for those of you that aren't able to get the sim up and running, or don't want to potentially, hopefully this is a little insight into how much fun this is. But really, if you do have the opportunity, highly recommend giving this a go. And I did realize the two cars that just passed us towards the end of the lap, those were the new alphas included with the mod, so nice to see those cars in there. So be the end of the video. Hope everybody enjoyed it. I should be making some new stuff sometime soon, and we'll talk again.